it was crazy seeing the footage after though, and seeing things that happen so fast, just and watching it back so slowly and seeing like the emotion come out of that it's pretty surreal. And I think Shawnee's job is almost, you know, as important, if not more important than mine, because these are things that, you know, I put my life into, and you see very little of that, you know, saved and preserved and shown to the world. And I think it's very special to have that and to be able to share that with people, win or lose. Like, yes, I was upset, but I was still happy. Like, I mean, a lot of people were telling me that was the best fight of the night.
It's such beautiful violence.
Yeah.
And like, that's one thing, especially being able to shoot Muay Thai in slow motion, because either as a spectator, like you miss things when you watch. Like when I'm shooting stuff, like I miss things. And even if I'm ringside, I'll still miss stuff because it all happens so quickly. And it's not until watching something back, you're like, oh fuck, that's how that happened.
All right, welcome to the Flats. A couple of great guests in today. Thank you for popping in, guys.
Thank you.
Got,
Thanks for having us.
Gabrielle from Mauy U, and just off the back of a big fight, and we got Sean in the house as well, who produced and shot a lot of the content that came out of that fight, which was really cool to see. Really great series, and keen to kind of chat to you guys about that and what else is going on. But yeah, thank you for joining us in the Flats.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Awesome. And so, yeah, how did that project come about? I know you've been fighting for a little while, but this was the first one where you did the series. And for those at home, I'll link it in the description, but it's really good, worth a watch. Goes deep in behind the scenes of kind of the lead up to that fight. How did that project come about?
Yeah, I think we just spoke about it one time. I've done a similar, probably less extensive series of videos with a few fighters at the gym. And Gab and I were just talking one time about considering she had a fight coming up and she also has quite a large Instagram following. I was like, why don't we make kind of an episodic thing leading into the fight, just with whatever happens, we'll just shoot it really high quality, because there's not really anyone in Muay Thai doing that. A lot of boxers, you see it a lot of in boxing and MMA, but not really in Muay Thai.
Yeah.
So I thought it was a good combination of like, Gab and I would be able to have creative freedom on just doing it. So it wouldn't be from that like marketing the gym perspective, which isn't necessarily a problem, but it was like, let's focus on Gab and the fight. And then we can just kind of leverage Gab's Instagram following and start growing the YouTube channel. Yeah. And I think it worked pretty well.
Yeah, for sure. I think we were definitely going for more of like a storytelling series of videos rather than just like a casual day in the life. I think that definitely was an aspect of it, but you could definitely see like the fight camp kind of progress throughout the videos. Like you can see me kind of lose weight slowly. You can see me get tired a little bit, or you can see me get excited. Like it really does tell the story of a Muay Thai fight, which is very different to other combat sports, still has a lot of similarities, but it's deeply rooted in like Thai culture. And I feel like that isn't really shown very much, especially on this kind of quality scale. So it was really cool to be able to share this part of my life personally, but also the sport that, you know, so many people love, but not many people know about.
Yeah, I think you did a really great job of showing that. And how was it kind of opening that up to the world, like behind the scenes? Because it's raw, it doesn't sugarcoat anything, the series. And yeah, how was that to kind of let the cameras into those moments?
It was very scary at first, actually. I remember When we shot the first vlog, I was pretty nervous. I didn't really know what to say. You could definitely tell like I didn't actually talk much in the first vlog, but as we went on, I got a bit more comfortable talking to the camera. I'd say the most vulnerable part was definitely the actual fight and the moments after the fight, just letting people see you very vulnerable, like emotionally and physically. But I think that's a big part of the sport, is that it is very hard. You know, Muay Thai is extremely hard, and it's something that should be very well respected. And I feel like it's, a lot of people think that they can do it, and yes, and I encourage people to do it, but I want to show people that we put literally our every day, every second of our day into this sport. And I really wanted to share that, even if it meant that like I had to show pretty vulnerable parts of like my life, my everyday life. So yeah, it was cool.
And spoiler alert for those who want to watch it, but the fight, you lost the fight in a close battle, and it was a close fight, and the day you were actually awarded the fight of the night.
Yeah.
And it was a pretty epic fight. And how was that? Both of you, like Sean, I know as a shooter, it must have been hard to cover that when you'd worked hard to come up and produce this, and then it's like you got to stick your camera.
I think yeah, it's definitely, it depends on the expectation that you have for the video series, right? Like I knew like from the day dot, I've shot enough fights with upsets, with losses, with close decisions and things that should have gone a different way retrospectively. But like going into the video series, like it is all just like whatever happens, happens. And it would be disingenuous to not make a video about losing the fight if we did a 3 or 4 part lead up to the fight and just didn't get the result that we wanted. I mean, I think credit to Gab and to Shook and PTJ Gym from Sydney. Like you were the only girls on the card, put on a complete barnstorm. Like it was absolutely wild, and I'm never going to complain about shooting an exciting fight, even like win or loss. Yeah, it is obviously hard seeing a friend, like seeing that happen, right? Like that's always like I get these. We spoke on the way in, right? Like what's news, and we were talking about Gab's like the fights that Gab has kind of on the horizon and what her plan was. And Nick very cheekily said to me like, "Oh, like when's your next fight?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm too chunky for that, but I definitely live vicariously through the videos that I make, right?" And yeah, just being able to kind of to experience or to share with people the experience of, you know, going backstage and getting stitched up. Like that's something that you don't see very often. That's not something that many people are willing to share because like, yeah, it is brutal, but it is Muay Thai. And you don't get to have the good bits without the hard bits, and everything is a risk. And again, like I'm never going to complain about being able to shoot such an exciting fight. Yeah, look at that. Oh, love that one. Yeah,
that is a pretty powerful scene.
Yeah.
In the series, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think just to close that out as well, Gab and I have known each other for years. Like since both of us, since before either of us did Muay Thai, since before the gym that we train at opened. So this going back probably 2016, 2017. Yeah. And so like we're obviously like good friends, and we have been friends for quite a long time. And a lot of the fights that I film, that I cover, are with people that I consider to be very close friends. And so there is...
You're almost part of the team.
Yeah, there is an intimacy that's shared between like me being an integral team member, essentially, like both in the context of the gym and then working specifically with fighters. And that kind of allows me to fit in very seamlessly and get a lot of candid things where if there was just kind of a media guy or like a production team that was more faceless and wasn't as close to the team, the fight team and the fighter, then it would be a lot harder to get the type of content that I get. Yeah.
Yeah, it really shows with the
Thank you.
access that you get and how it came together, and really well edited too, man. Like,
Thank you.
It's really powerful stuff, like that fight, and I don't know how. Was it one camera in the ring?
So I shot all of it with one camera and one lens.
Yeah.
And then some of the tight angle stuff, there's literally like I was shooting in 4K and my camera has like a crop version. So if I wanted to shoot a bit tighter, and usually the slow motion stuff is tight, so I'd punch in to the crop of the sensor and shoot in slow motion. And so you would get that kind of tighter, like closer view and the slow motion, and then I'd switch back out into the full frame of the camera. So it's kind of like shooting with two cameras, but it's not, because you just you don't have time. Like, you don't have time to shoot, to change anything really, or like to change lenses or even switching camera bodies. Like I think I will in future. Like, I didn't have access to a second camera body, but then there's the logistics of manning two bodies simultaneously when the fights are 2 or 3 minutes?
Threes.
3 threes.
Yeah.
So there's 9 minutes of content, like of action there, plus you get 1 or 2 minutes in between rounds. So it's like the whole thing is over in 15 minutes, and you can't spend time changing settings or swapping lenses or anything like that, because you just miss things.
And you clearly weren't happy with the result, and it was a. How about you at that moment when now you have to do stuff in front of the camera when you least probably want to?
That was, to be honest, I didn't actually think about the camera so much after the fight. There's a whole big physical sensation that happens after a fight, a bit of like an adrenaline dump, especially if you're a bit like injured, which I was. So I was cut twice, and I had a bit of a hematoma on my cheek as well. So I wasn't really thinking about the camera at all. To be honest, I didn't really think about the camera even before the fight. I was just kind of getting ready for my fight. I'm kind of used to having like phones and stuff on me, and Sean's just a friend, so it's not like there was a random person I didn't know that had a camera on me, so it felt very natural. But it was crazy seeing the footage after though, and seeing things that happened so fast, just and watching it back so slowly and seeing like the emotion come out of that it's pretty surreal. And I think Shawnee's job is almost, as important, if not more important than mine, because these are things that, I put my life into, and you see very little of that, saved and preserved and shown to the world. And I think it's very special to have that, and to be able to share that with people, win or lose. Yes, I was upset, but I was still happy. A lot of people were telling me that was the best fight of the night, which feels amazing, especially since we were only like 3 fights in. We were the 3rd fight of the night, and people were already raving about it, which is awesome. And plus we were the only female fight on the card, and plus we're like 2 47-kilo girls. I think we fought at 48, but still it's pretty impressive to get that from women that, weigh the same amount as kids, some kids out there. So, I felt very, very proud and still stoked to put on a performance, win or lose. And that's the reality of the sport, because there is literally a 50-50 chance of you winning when you get in there. But, it's the fights that people remember, the fighters that people remember that are important, and I feel like I really did that in there, and I'm stoked to be able to have footage of that. Yeah.
Was there sort of stuff that you said you kind of don't remember, and then you're like, I didn't even know I did that, or like I totally forgot that happened?
Yeah. To be honest, it happens a lot. Probably in every fight, I'm like, oh, I don't remember I did that, and then you see it played back, and it was cool to see that in like such high quality. So things like my long guarding, I long guarded really, I felt fairly well in that fight, which was cool. I also just didn't realize like how much she was rushing forward at me and like how much I had to move. And it just really put it into perspective, like how I felt in there. Yeah. So when you fight, like most of it goes by like quite like a blur. It was a fast fight too. Like it was 3-3s and it was like she was fast paced from the start. So it was cool to watch it back and just see everything happen in slow-mo.
Yeah, you even watch like the very first, like the start of the very, very first round. I don't think she touches gloves.
No,
with
she
you
didn't
either.
touch gloves.
Like the ref starts the fight and she just charged straight ahead and was unrelenting for basically the whole fight, which was like intense. It was very intense and just push that pace because sometimes like there are some fights where it kind of ramps up a little bit, like the first minute or minute and a half or the first round in longer fights will the fighters will kind of like feel each other out and kind of get their range and get their distance. Whereas this, because it is a 3-minute fight as well, right? Like if you don't win the first round, you have to win the second and the third round or else you're not going to win the fight. And so that's different to 5-round fights where you have that little bit more leeway to like give up a round to kind of figure out what you're doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's just like, yeah. And I think the other thing, like full credit to Shook and to Andy from PTJ, like that they knew your style and she did a very good job of negating that. It was good to watch still. Like it's not like it was a one-sided fight at all, right? It was just like you weren't able to do the damage that you wanted to do, and she was very durable and just didn't stop moving forwards. But yeah, you still moved really well. You could have been a lot more hurt than you were. Like, yeah, I'm really chuffed with that clip of the long guard as the elbow comes in. So the long guard is like straight arm and then
it's
the
like
glove in front of the face. And it's like quite a good defensive position because it covers you from a lot of angles. And yeah, there's like that one clip where she goes down for like a really big elbow and Gab just like rolls the glove in front of the face. And a lot of people, even in the comments on the YouTube.
The reel?
Yeah.
It was like you were training, you were practicing it. Was that the one I saw?
Yeah, no, sure. That was the hook.
Oh yeah.
The hook. But I think for me personally, I'm nowadays I'm finding myself usually smaller than the girls that I fight. So my defense has to be like a bit more on point than usual because I can't just take damage like other people can. So yeah, it was just really cool to see that kind of pay off, but also see the things that I need to work on to have footage of all of that is awesome. And also just to show people that like, you know,
you go hard.
Yeah, people get hurt, and that's the reality of the sport. It's not like this amazing. I mean, it is amazing. Sorry, don't get me wrong, but it's not like amazing 24/7. Like I had stitches in for a week, and like
your eye was bloodshot for like a month.
My eye was bloodshot for like 4 weeks, and it's only kind of just gone. And you know, like
blood, sweat, and tears.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly that. Yeah. Exactly that. So, I'm really happy that I get to show this and, you know, show like just how hard and how much quality and time Muay Thai, you know, demands.
I love the right at the end, you're looking in the mirror and you like shout out the lashes.
Yeah,
like,
my eyelash girl.
While you've just got stitches in
the lashes still looked great.
Yeah.
Yeah, they held up.
Yeah.
They held up.
Yeah.
Funny.
She's funny.
And so you mentioned that it is harder to fight at your weight, and you're looking at going, or to find opponents at your weight, and you're looking at going over to Thailand.
Yes.
For the next one, maybe.
Yeah. So there aren't many girls in the division in the country in general. There aren't many girls, or as many girls fighting as, you know, as guys, obviously. So it's just generally hard to find people my weight, and the more experience you get, the harder it is too, because people either have to step up or you have to step up. And I found my last 3 fights I've stepped up like quite a bit in experience, and and in weight as well. So I would really love the opportunity to just like fight someone a bit closer to my weight, like because usually I don't have to cut very much. So I don't cut really at all. So
Yeah, for a bit of context, like Gab walks around at like 48, 49 kilos and fights at 47 or 48 kilos. So there are some girls that can walk around at 52 or 53 kilos and still make 48. So when you think about that in the context of like just the percentage or the size of the people that Gab can fight or is fighting, they'll make weight at 48 kilos, but then they'll step into the ring 24 hours later at 52 or 53 kilos. And so like that's something that you see it more at the higher levels where, you know, a guy will make weight at 70 kilos, but fight at like 77 or 78 kilos. And that's like the equivalent kind of size difference that Gab is dealing with. And so it would be real nice if there were more people Gab size, but there isn't. So we just kind of have to go and search for them.
Yeah. But it's like made me a tougher fighter too.
For sure.
So
There's the training shot where you're with your partner at the gym. I
Is it
love
San?
that.
San, the
Yeah,
big one.
yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, so I have a couple coaches at the gym. So I have my head coach, Kieran, who owns Mauy U. And then we've got 2 trainers from Thailand, one called San. So he would have been in my first vlog. Yeah, that's him. Me holding pads for him.
Yep.
He is 130 kilos.
Yeah, he's a big boy.
Yeah, and
Big San.
I am like 49. So, yeah. But he is so lovely. He's got such a big like Mauy Thai brain. It's so great to have him at the gym. So it is very good to like train with him because he's like immovable.
Yeah, you got to hit him really hard and he still doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah, so he makes me a lot stronger. Yeah.
And how did you get into fighting?
San?
No, you.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh.
Or both of you. Is that where you met fighting? Or
Yeah.
you still
No,
knew-
we actually met
Yeah,
at
so-
Mauy U.
Did we meet at
Yeah,
Mauy U?
yeah,
So
yeah.
but you were working at High Road and I was working at Cupping Room
Yeah,
at the time. So
yeah.
we kind of worked for the same company, but we met at Mauy U. There
Yeah,
you go. That's new.
yeah.
I just thought we knew through Honor first,
No,
but
I don't think so.
yeah, interesting. Just for reference as well, I don't fight. I just train. Yeah, that's again like we're talking about, right? There's a certain level of commitment that you need, and I think my priorities are elsewhere. Yeah, it would be, you know, maybe in a different timeline. Like I'd be doing that because like I started training Mauy Thai and I'm full addicted to it, like everything about it. But yeah, I think my heart lies elsewhere. But yeah, it's still just the best. Like I like training to quite a high level. Not at the moment. I'm a bit chunky. But yeah, what was actually why did you start fighting as opposed to just training?
I just finished year 12 and I was just looking for a hobby and I had finally just got a car and I'd always wanted to do something like this. And growing up, I would always ask my parents, but I came from a pretty traditional background. So both my parents are Filipino and they're Catholic, and they never really, not that they disapproved, but they never really like wanted me to do anything like this. But when I got a car, I was like, oh, I can just do it now. So I went and did my first class and I really, really enjoyed it. And then as soon as I got a membership, I was training like morning, noon and night. And I was like,
there was
in love with it.
the first year that the gym was open, Gab got the award for the most training sessions in one day, where she trained at 6 a.m, lunchtime, and 2 of the afternoon classes. I'm pretty sure you trained like every available class in that day. You trained, and that was quite funny.
I had no life, basically.
If you Nick, if you want to go on Mauy U YouTube channel,
No.
yeah, no, we got to. Yeah, search Mauy U and then Gabrielle, and it should come up.
Oh,
There's a video that I made
That's crazy.
that long ago when the gym was like a third of the physical size that it is now.
Yeah.
And yeah, you would have been 18 years and 6 months old or something like that.
I actually reckon I was 17.
Damn.
Oh no, 18.
Yeah. That's a long time ago.
Yeah.
4 years ago.
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah.
Gross.
Yeah, I had to do it to him.
My hair's so short.
I think what was the context on that?
Kieran and I really liked this like
It
different
was food, wasn't it?
cereals.
Yeah, it was food.
Yeah. So
wow.
yeah, you can see like the baby fat on my cheeks. I was training with Sean's now wife, and they weren't even together back then in this video. So crazy.
Yeah, wow, look at them.
That's my head coach, Kieran, there.
And that's my wife, Ash.
And Ash and Sean weren't dating there. That's
No.
crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it was a pretty quick time between when you started and when you started professionally fighting.
Yeah. And I think quicker than a lot of people as well, because
Because you're in there 4 times a day.
yeah. And I think I started around February or something. And then Kieran, my coach, you know, like kind of convinced me to start training to fight, because he you know, just saw me there every day, and I think he saw the potential, but I didn't. My confidence was very, very low. So he convinced me to join the fight team. I think I joined in April, and then I ended up having my first fight in September. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy quick.
Yeah.
Just cringing at the fucking camera work from me.
It's very
I'm glad I got better over the years.
No, it looks awesome. It's I guess it will then your filming career has also
Yeah,
the
progressed.
training
Yeah, quite
has
dramatically.
happened in the gym as well.
Yeah, we've done a lot of stuff. There were a lot of opportunities that were kind of given to me through the gym. We had a fighter start with us who's quite experienced, Josh Tonner, and something happened with his coach at the time, couldn't make a fight, and so Kieran coached him in the lead up to a fight in Kuala Lumpur for One Championship, which is the biggest fight promotion by viewership on the planet. Yeah, the biggest combat sports promotion. And I think on 2 weeks' notice, Kieran was like, "Do you want to come to Kuala Lumpur with Josh and I and film it?" And I was like, "Yep, yes."
Was that the where you were? It was like around COVID.
So this was before COVID. So we went to, we did Kuala Lumpur, and then I think 6 or 7 months later we did one in Jakarta, and that was just at the start of COVID, and I think it was those. Yeah, it was Morimoto and then Andy House, and they're the 2 fights that I filmed.
And you went to Japan with Dan.
And then so I flew out of Jakarta to Tokyo with Dan Marshall, one of our other fighters at the gym. So that was all, and those 2, the Jakarta and Tokyo, they were both just before COVID. Like that was February. I remember going into the airports with and they had like thermal cameras checking people's body temperature, which was like kind of wild because I was also sweating because I had my hoodie on just because I didn't want to carry it. I was like, oh, I'm fucking warm now. Like hopefully they don't pull me aside and test me. But yeah, that was, and then we came back and I think, yeah, it was only a month or so later that the borders were shut. So that was really quite close. And then the Jakarta fight with Josh Tonner, he knocked out a British Mauy Thai legend in quite spectacular fashion. And that skyrocketed him, that pushed him to the #1 contender spot in the division. So he got the world title shot later that year, which was mid-COVID. So we ended up spending, I think we spent 6 nights in Singapore in October 2020. And I think it was, and then we had to come back to Australia and do 2 weeks of quarantine. So all of October 2020, we were basically just, because in Singapore as well, we were in hotel lockdown in individual rooms at the Shangri-La. It was fancy. My room had a chandelier and I had a massive bath. It was really cool, but I didn't have a window that opened. So that sucked. So I had a big window and it looked out and it was really nice. But the, and like a king size bed, like it was a pretty good place to be locked down, to be honest. I just would have loved a balcony. And I was actually really dirty because, so we were all in separate rooms. And then we got taken out of the rooms, I think once a day to go train. And then weigh in was a separate thing. And then the event we got, and Josh lost that fight, but he also fought this guy, Sam A. Gayanghedow. And Sam A has, I think, 425 Muay Thai fights in his career, and he's like 36 at like an 85 or 90% win ratio. Like it's completely bonkers. Like just a statistical anomaly, which
one
is
of the fastest kick, like
crazy.
I've seen.
And even after the fight, Josh was like, and Josh has had what 50 something fights as well. Like Joshy's fought a bunch of people, and he was like, I've never been kicked so hard in my entire life. Yeah, it was damn.
And he's like nearly 40.
Yeah,
I think Same is like mid 30s or.
I think
30s. Oh, they're the same age.
I think they're the same age, or Same's
okay.
a little bit older.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that was quite the experience. It would have been nice to be able to see Singapore a little bit more than just from my window. And obviously we didn't come back with the bacon. But yeah, still just quite an amazing experience. And all of these, it's just been great, like seeing Mauy U as a gym grow, and we have such high quality fighters that fight kind of everywhere now, and just being able to kind of like leapfrog my professional filmmaking career off the back of just telling these really intense and authentic, like awesome stories, while also being able to just go places and kick stuff. It's pretty fun. Yeah.
Yeah, unreal. And it's like they're both passions of yours combined.
Yeah, it's like there's that, what is it? There's a Japanese term, ikigai, and it's like when you find purpose in life, it's the cross section of and people use like a funky kind of Venn diagram for it, but it's like the cross section of like what you enjoy doing, what's valuable for other people. And fuck, there's actually a few other, I'm just going to search it because I'm going to fuck it up if I don't say it properly. Yeah, here we go. So what we love, what the world needs, what we can be paid for, and what we're good at. And the kind of the combination of those is this Japanese term ikigai. So it's like if you can find what that is, then yeah, like that's where you can find purpose in your life. Yeah. That was actually funny when we were in Tokyo. Well, when I was in Tokyo with Dan, so I flew in and met him, and we walked for about 15 kilometers a day before weigh-in, so we could like finally cut weight. And because it was, I think, very similar weather there then in February as it is now. Like it was 5 or 6 degrees in the day, but it was sunny, and we just kept walking all day so that he could make weight, because he didn't really sweat that much because it was too cold. And it was actually quite poignant. Like he said, he was like, you don't get into Muay Thai to make money. Like you don't fight Muay Thai to make money. Like you do it because you love it. And by extension, I was like, I probably can't really be making Muay Thai videos. Like you can't be expecting to make that much money off of Muay Thai videos if they're like the fighters don't even make that much money. But it's definitely pushed me in the direction to be like, let's make this video production business viable, and then just like leverage that to put assets into telling these fighters stories and having these awesome experiences. Yeah.
But I think also like the quality, like the standard of quality that we produce as a gym in thanks to you has and will hopefully bring the sport up more so that we can get paid more as a collective. I think that's really important. And something that I think is like definitely paying off, and I can see it paying off, and hopefully see it continue to pay off,
Yeah, I mean, I've done a bit of filming for some like mixed martial arts promotions as well, and a few of my friends are like really heavy into MMA, and they watch the UFC and they watch this and that and da-da-da. And like even so one championship, they do joint cards where they have MMA fights and Muay Thai fights. And it's night and day. Like if you're actually a combat sports fan and you're not watching Muay Thai, like you don't know what you're doing. Like boxing's boring by comparison. MMA is boring by comparison. Like Muay Thai it's amazing. Like it's the most exciting, electrifying, striking combat sports on the planet. And once people like, hopefully, this like Gab with her platform, we're building this YouTube channel. I work with a few Muay Thai gyms and promotions on like the East Coast as well. And it's like, if we can just get more people doing the sport, get more people watching the sport, that just elevates it and brings it up for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And bringing it to those higher platforms like One, I think is really important.
Well, it's crazy. Like the One Championship fights at Lumpini Stadium, which is in Bangkok, and it's like the like home of Muay Thai essentially, right?
Yeah.
Like it's their broadcasting partner is now Channel 7 in Australia. So they had like Friday night, they do Friday night fights at Lumpini Stadium, and they're just massive cards with all these big name Muay Thai fights, and they're super exciting.
Yeah.
And they even actually had the heavyweight MMA World Championship on this card on the Friday just past. But all the Muay Thai fights were more fun to watch.
Yeah.
And that's all just being broadcast on bloody 7+ on the internet. So you just go and watch it for free.
Yeah. But even platforms like RWS is doing
amazing.
Like their quality of content is so good to watch. Like,
and they just flood it.
Yeah, and it's yeah, it's really good. I really want to fight in that show one day.
Oi, that'd be awesome. Yeah, let's go. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's get you matched on
Just need to fight
RWS.
someone my weight.
Well, if you keep it up, I'm sure you'll be not far off that.
Yes, hopefully.
Because it is entertaining to watch. So very keen for some more. We've talked about the doco series. Back before that, you famously fought 2 fights in 1 week. And tell us about that.
That was really cool. It was a really good experience. So I had a fight in the Sunshine Coast. That was 3-2, so 3 rounds and 2-minute rounds. 3 rounds, and they were 2-minute rounds. That was a great fight against a good girl from a gym in the Gold Coast called Boonshoe. That was a great fight. I won that one fairly easy as well, and I think a couple days before that, one of the promoters that I have fought on their show a few times now, called Mauy Thai League, reached out to us to kind of fight this girl who had one of her opponents pull out. And I think that fight was originally matched maybe for 51 or 52 kilos. But I knew that the girl, Danny, has fought at 48 before, or 49 or something before. And I really wanted to fight her. And she, at the time, was 17 fights, and I had only had 8. So 8 or 9 or something like that. So I really wanted the opportunity to fight her, whether it was at any weight. So I told Kieran, if I go good in this fight, can I go and fight her a week after? And he was like, okay, yeah, let's see how we go. And then I won, the fight in the Sunshine Coast very easily. And then a couple of days later, I flew back to the Gold Coast and, I flew back to Queensland and went to the Gold Coast and then fought Danny over 3 rounds. And that was, I would say, my first proper pro fight. So no elbow pads, no headgear. It was 3-minute rounds. And that fight was a bit heavier than my usual weight. So that fight was matched at 49 kilos. I had fought at 47.6 the week before, or 5 days before. And I literally weighed in at 47.6, and I ate breakfast that day. And that's very unheard of in the combat sports world, if to put it in perspective.
Weighing in 1.5 kilos under after eating the morning of.
Yeah, and then Danny weighed in, I think, just under 49. So yeah, it was cool. And then I ended up fighting Danny and having a really good win. And I fought a bit differently for that fight too. I had to come forward a bit more, which I don't usually do, but it's kind of cool. I got to show off a bit of my boxing that I've been working really hard on in the lead up to that. So it was an amazing experience. And my adrenaline was kind of gone already because I spent it all for the first fight. So when I went and fought Danny, it was there was no nerves because it felt like I just did it.
That's interesting.
There was
I haven't heard that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Usually when I fight, my mouth I can feel my mouth getting really dry, and that's just the adrenaline starting to kick in. And I didn't feel that at all in that second fight. It felt like home. It was
that's cool.
It was a really cool feeling. I just really just felt like I was doing my job, which is, I think, what the sport is. And I think that's, what I try to remind myself is Muay Thai is, as hard as it is, still a sport at the end of the day, and you have a job to do. And that's how it felt. And it was really, really cool. So I ended up winning that. And and then I ended up having 5 fights in the year last year. So I racked it up pretty well. I'm on 12 now. So 12 fights in, I think, 4 years, which is pretty cool. Yeah.
And so now all your fights are going to have a fight a week before as well. Just to get you-
I
get you
hope so.
going. Yeah.
I want to keep saying yes. Well, hopefully in Thailand I can just bang them all out. Hopefully if people will say yes to me, or we can find people. Yeah.
So is that the plan? Kind of like you can go over there and you'll station yourself there for a little while, train there. Is that, and then line up fights as you go?
I think I'll go for a couple weeks. I think I'll go for about 3 weeks. And we'll just see how we go. I think Kieran, my coach, is kind of trying to line some stuff up prior to us leaving. But I think in Thailand, there's like shows every day. So you can just find someone
Yeah,
and like
it's
fight
a
the
lot-
next day.
Instagram reels you see of like people just jumping in the ring.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a lot less of a big deal.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of Western, combat sports culture. You see it with the UFC. You see it kind of originates in boxing, where the boxers would have like 1 or 2 fights a year, and they just train the rest of the time, and they'd have their big 16 or 12-week fight camps leading up to that. But like in Mauy Thai, and that's how you see these guys like Samay with like 400 fights in their career, and that's from when they're a kid, right? They just kind of generally keep track of it, but they'll fight every other week. It's like
Right, yeah, I didn't know that.
yeah, it's like a rugby league player. Like it's like a season. They'll play, like they won't fight every week, but they might fight every other week for like years at a time until either they get to the top of the sport or they're like kind of broken.
Yeah.
But it is super demanding there, but it's just so much more casual.
Yeah.
Like and in Muay Thai as well, like it's great to go for the knockout, but a lot of the times like they'll fight for points, and they'll like your body takes more damage, but your head doesn't take as much. Whereas in like boxing, the whole sport of boxing is just to like punch people in the head. And you see it in the UFC that everyone's always going for the knockout. Whereas in Thai boxing, like, yeah, you're going to get hit in the head, but the more dominant thing that you can, well, the most dominant thing that you can do without knocking someone out is kicking them really cleanly and really hard to the body, or cutting them with an elbow. And so it's like, yeah, you get these guys that just rack up fights without getting the head trauma, because it's just more focused on hits to the body as opposed to hits to the head.
Yeah.
Right.
I think my coach Kieran puts this really well to me, and he said this one day, and it's kind of stuck to me, is fighting in Thailand is a job and it's their life in Thailand.
Yeah.
Whereas in like Western countries, Muay Thai is a privilege.
Yeah.
It is a privilege to train. Like you go to the gym, you want to be there.
Yeah.
Whereas people in Thailand, they go to the gym, they fight because they're trying to earn money. So it's it really puts into perspective like how lucky I am I get to do a sport like this because I'm choosing to, not because I have to. And I think that's like a big difference between combat sports like boxing and like MMA, because like Muay Thai is founded on like it is founded in Thailand, but it relies and used to rely heavily on gambling, and that's why you see a lot of the fighters fight more skillfully for a longer period of time, because the first few rounds they usually like have to give like the gamblers time to like see who's gonna win or like place their bets.
Yeah, so there are
then they can like hit each other a bit
they
harder.
go a bit harder. Yeah. Like there are fights on YouTube of like some of the greats of our generation fighting when they're like 15, 16, 17 years old. And they only broadcast like the third or fourth and fifth round, because the first 2 rounds they just don't do too much.
Yeah.
And that's because all the betting is being finalized.
Yeah.
And it's a bit different now with like with RWS and with
RWS,
like
yeah.
they're 3-round fights and they fight the whole time because it's more exciting as a global spectator sport. But like
And they're trying to
traditionally-
abolish the gambling a bit more. But yeah.
That's interesting. So the gambling kind of influenced the sport a little bit in the way that it was structured almost.
Yes.
Yeah.
Highly, yeah. It definitely
Yeah.
influenced it heaps.
Imagine a rugby league team not really playing properly until 20 minutes in because people were still gambling on it.
Yeah.
That'd be a bit interesting.
Yeah. But I think the difference with like a rugby game is that it has to go till the end. Whereas in when you fight, it's like if someone gets knocked out, it's done. So if you knock someone out before people get to place their bets, then like someone's in trouble.
Yeah. And it's not like it's fixing anything because it's just a pacing
Yeah.
part of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, it's a lot of things you don't really know about Muay Thai. Like you hear the word, and you don't know what, like, well, me anyway, you don't know these sort of little detail. And another cool thing in the series was the headpiece and the ceremony kind of before the fights, which you also
Mongkong and the Mauy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Mongkong that you see many Thai fighters wear when they enter the ring is it's
The
pretty much
headband.
it's blessed by a monk, and it's pretty much meant to symbolize like giving you like safety into going to like war. It can mean there's a lot of different things can mean to people in the sport, but a lot of it is highly influenced by like Buddhism. So even like the ceremony of that you see where you seal the ring, that's pretty much performed by the two fighters that are about to fight, and they're basically just like sealing and what's the word for it? They're pretty much trying to like get rid of all like the bad energy and the bad spirits out of the ring
It's
before
like
they fight.
a prayer ritual to
Yeah.
like bring good fortune and to seal the bad spirits out of the ring.
Yeah, but this one particularly, so this thing that I'm doing, which is called the Waikuramoy, so this is pretty much like a dance that is meant to symbolize like saying thank you to your coaches or anyone that has like helped you in the lead up to the fight or the battle. But like crew means like
Teacher.
teacher,
doesn't it? Yeah. And why when you like
why is like thank
bow
you.
slightly like to people in Thailand, like that's the why you're saying thank you. And so like the why crew is like thank you teacher.
Yeah.
And then Ram Moy,
I think
I don't know that part.
I think from like because Moy means boxing,
Yeah.
so so that's basically what that is, and I feel like this part of the sport, unfortunately, has deterred some people from it because fighters do it before they fight, and then people don't want to watch the show because like half of it's like them doing all this sealing
this silly
and stuff.
dance, like fuck off, honestly. Yeah, I've had quite stern conversations with a few of my like MMA friends. They're like, oh, I don't watch Muay Thai because that stupid dance they do at the start. I'm like, fuck off. Like, honestly, you're gonna like, I don't know. I'm just being opinionated on that one. Like, yeah, think whatever you want to think, but like,
because they'd rather see someone get knocked out in like 2 seconds.
Bro. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, take the culture in for what it is, right? Like, you yeah, I don't know. I don't know. There is so much culture in Muay Thai that like a big difference as well is that there is Thai music playing when you fight as well, and it like picks up as the fight goes on, which is really cool. Yeah.
Cool.
There's when I was in Phuket, like we went to one of the stadiums there and they actually had a band playing it. So we sat right next to the band. And so there's just like 4 guys, like a couple guys hitting drums, playing flutes and stuff like that. And it kind of like they play it with the pace of the fight. So as the fight goes on, like the tempo kind of elevates and stuff like that. And it was quite interesting.
It's like a score, a film score.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. And it kind of builds into this crescendo. It's really cool.
It's really cool. It's very if you haven't heard it before, it can be very like
it's a very shrill noise. Like the flute is very shrill.
Yes. But it's almost like calming now for me.
Yeah. Well, even so there was a kind of mixed combat sport promotion here in Canberra last night, and Max, one of our fighters, went there to watch one of the guys that trains at our gym but fights MMA out of a different gym there. And I remember he put up on his Instagram story, like, this is a bit weird without the music. Like, it's a bit of an adjustment because Max, like, he's had 100 and something fights.
Had a lot of fights.
He's had a lot of fights, and he has quite a traditional like style as well. Like, he's very authentic with his Muay Thai style. Yeah. And so it is quite a change. So when you go to a show and the music's not playing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does it as you're fighting, does it have any impact on you? Do you think like you feel like, oh shit,
because
they're warming up here.
So it's called the Sarama, and you'll hear it, and the first few rounds it'll won't be as fast. And then in round 3, 4, and 5, it'll pick up. And it'll like, you can hear it, like it can like really pick up, and it almost like stirs the crowd on heaps as well.
It definitely, from a like filmmaking perspective, there have been a lot of times where like I've been like, you know, when you're really engrossed in something when you're shooting it, like if it is intensive, like you have to be 100% focused on what you're doing. And one of the challenging things shooting Muay Thai is like I'll kind of hang myself like into the ring a little bit, so I have to be watching my camera, making sure I'm in focus and well framed and stuff like that, but also make sure that I'm like aware of where the fighters are in relation to where I am with my camera, because the last thing I want to do is have a fighter fall on my camera and my fucking lens cuts their head open or something like that. That's like a full fear that I have.
Oh wow.
So I have to be really on top of it. There have been a few times where like a fighter has fallen at me and I've had to like pull myself out of the ring to make sure I don't get hit.
It does happen quite fast.
But yeah, like filming stuff, there was the one that was really intense for me was when Davey, so Gab's boyfriend, David Pennempede, number 2 in the world at the moment. He's a fucking animal. We love him so much.
International champion.
International WBC champion. Yeah, we love him. He fought a Thai opponent in Sydney and cut him with an elbow in the 4th round. And like having all of that happen, like that, I got blood in my hair and on my camera from that, which was wild. But like the crowd and the music, like, I don't know, it stimulates me a lot there.
Yes.
Yeah, here we go.
it.
So I'm...
Oh, no, it's a different one.
Oh, is that Beckham? Yeah, no, it's a different
Yeah.
one.
It was further down. Actually, you'll probably see it if I'll show you. Oh, no. You click on him. Go to him, not me.
Oh,
Yeah,
click
just press
to
that
David,
and then find him.
David Pennempede, that one there.
Yeah. And then if you go up a bit. Oh, no. Down. Oh, there.
Yeah.
So that's the elbow. Boom.
And so I'm here. And so the cut happens here and then they move across me. And yeah, that's a big cut. And
Yeah,
so that's my shot. Yeah.
Wow.
That's my shot. So
Beautiful.
So sorry, you were saying that you had to dodge that, or you
yeah, so well the music, like I remember feeling like my like I don't know, it is quite hard to describe, like, because there's so much emotion, so much intensity happening there. And also I was very emotionally invested in this fight because I love Davey so much. And having everything happening and the music changing in that 4th round, like it was upbeat and the crowd was going crazy. And to my right, like right in front of where the cut happened, that's where our whole gym was sitting, basically, or everyone that came to the fight. And so it was just electrifying. Yeah, everything about shooting that was like, yeah, it was crazy.
one of those moments that sticks with you.
Yeah, and I don't think it would have felt the same without the traditional music
Yeah.
as well. I think that's to tie it into how we started that tangent. Like,
I think the music really carries you through, and it creates that authenticity of what Muay Thai is. And I remember watching a show back. Oh, what show? I think it was. I'm not going to say it. It was a show, and they didn't have the right music, and like they couldn't find it. I don't know what it was, but it was like I think the music had to end up being like a remixed version of it, and it was just so hard to like watch because it was just not like right.
it's like in that uncanny valley.
Yeah.
It's like it doesn't sound exactly like it should be.
Yeah,
you're like,
yeah,
"Whoa."
And it's just hard because like the sport is it's founded so much on tradition and culture, and when one of those aspects are taken away, it just doesn't feel correct.
It's not the same, right? Like, yeah, people will fight Muay Thai, but they won't use their elbows. And it's like, we're not really fighting Muay Thai then, are you, right? Like, there's so many ways that we try and modify things or like change it, but it's like you have to remain authentic to the culture or else you're kind of just doing something differently. Yeah, and it feels like kind of a rip-off. Yeah.
I imagine, I'm trying to think, I think that's like a completely unique thing where the music is so crucial to a sport in that way. It's almost like maybe, I can't think
I'm trying to think of something where it would be relevant. Maybe like sports betting in Australian sports. You can't really see that without one without the other. Like gambling ads in Australian sport. Well,
yeah, it's really interesting actually. I actually haven't thought about that
like
too.
not during competition. There's not really anything where like music is played and that's like a part of the competition.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
like the whole thing of like art and sport mixing in a way,
Yes,
like
yes.
which is people often, arty farty people discount sport. They're like,
Yes.
it's all-
I mean,
you know,
it's such beautiful
but,
violence,
yeah.
and like that's one thing, especially being able to shoot Muay Thai in slow motion, because either as a spectator, like you miss things when you watch. Like when I'm shooting stuff, like I miss things, and even if I'm ringside, I'll still miss stuff because it all happens so quickly, and it's not until watching something back, you're like, oh fuck, that's how that happened. And yeah, there's that element of it, but yeah, like it is just beautiful. Like people need to, like, you can't sterilize like all of the, I don't know, like beauty, like things that are like really like viscerally like just beautiful. Like they are quite intense, and I don't think you can separate that intensity.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it is all just emotion, right? Like the fight, like everything, watching it or competing, like it's all elevated emotion, and there's beauty in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think all of those aspects really set apart what Muay Thai is compared to something like MMA, where, you find people, I'm not discounting MMA fighters. I know it takes a lot to get in there. And I've never grappled in my life. It does look hard. I'm not saying that, but I think there is so much respect like embedded into what Muay Thai is that it's so much more than just like two people in the ring trying to hurt each other.
Yeah, like there's one thing that you'll see in Muay Thai that you won't see in most other sports. Like it'll happen occasionally, but not to the same degree. But like every Muay Thai fight, at the end of the fight, the fighters will hug. I mean, unless there's some there are certain circumstances where that won't happen. And then the fighters will go to the opposite corner and get a drink from the other corner. Like that happens so often.
Yeah.
Where like in MMA, in boxing, like there's, I don't know, there seems to be way too much like bad blood in fights, whereas like Muay Thai fights, they'll end and it's like, cool, like we just did that together and that's it. Unless, there are obviously people with egos and that don't behave in that, but I think they're more the anomaly rather than the, what's the opposite of that? Like,
because at
the
end
exception,
of the
not the rule. Sorry.
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, and I think about this a bit as well. If you want to be, like, if you want to treat everyone that you're going to fight like they don't belong or like they don't deserve to fight you, then then essentially there's no one for you to fight. In the sport, like you need to have opponents, and if you're just going to like talk shit about every single one of them, then you're not respecting the sport because they are a part of that.
And they're a part of your career as well, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's totally fine. Like I understand that like shit talking and all of that creates hype, and it creates like, you see it a lot in boxing, that it creates like
The big money fights.
Yeah, for sure. But I think I've seen it a lot more in boxing now where like, for example, like Davis
Javante Davis.
and
is
Javante,
that,
Davis and Garcia, for example, like they were talking shit about each other for like the whole lead up into that, and then hugged and stuff, and like paid a lot of respect to each other after that. And I feel that that happens in probably every single Muay Thai fight that I've seen, and it probably happens like once or twice in the other fights that I've seen in the other sports. And don't get me wrong, like I love boxing, I love watching boxing, but I think because Muay Thai is so like deeply rooted in respect and like culture, that it just like carries through to the fighters, and it carries through to the gyms and even people who don't want or choose to train to fight, like Shawnee, for example. And I think that's like really beautiful, and it carries through into the rest of my life, which I really appreciate.
Yeah, unreal. And Sean, you mentioned earlier how the fighting kind of led to your growth as a filmmaker too. And tell us a bit about how that then led to good creative. Good creative.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's all just, everything's just kind of been happening. So for those that don't know, like Good Creative Studio is a business that I started with my girlfriend at the time, now wife. We're also due to have a baby on Friday. I didn't tell you that on the way in.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah.
And
So
we took an hour of your time.
that's funny. Yeah. So we're
It's going to be future Muay Thai champion.
Potentially, yeah. It's
Go
got
straight to the gym.
good coaches around it. Yeah, we'll see what happens. No.
Congratulations, man.
Thank you, bro.
That's
Thank you.
exciting.
Yeah. But we just started that because I was working in hospitality at the time, and Ash was working in kind of like a small startup situation. And then COVID happened, and there was all the work from home, and hospitality as an industry was just completely fucked. And we both had, so Ash has like web and graphic design experience, and then I had photo video. So we were like, why don't we just offer that as a joint service to businesses that need that? Because as a small business owner, you get like the big agencies here in Canberra that do those services, but you're up for, 5 figures plus, like easy for those types of projects. Or you have to like contract a variety of sole traders and then become a project manager of a website designer and a developer and a photographer and a marketing person and all of that. And so we kind of wanted to just sit in the middle of like, we're not sole traders, like we have a complete package offering, but we're not one of the big agencies. And really, like, Good Creative Studios just been the vessel for us to be able to work for ourselves and just to take projects on that we want to take on. But it wasn't necessarily born out of the filmmaking career opportunities that came from Mauy Thai. I think it's just it was just a natural progression and a response to the economic climate at the time, I suppose. I think there's a direction that we do want to go, and I think further down the line, once I've have a more established business and have a few more resources to deploy, I do want to explore more of like a kind of personal brand with regards to filmmaking and tying that into Mauy Thai. So it's not necessarily like a Good Creative Studio thing, because that, like, I would rather have my personal brand attached to these Mauy Thai documentaries than a business. But that's something that, like, we kind of tried to do it. I've got the business name Mauy, which is, I haven't done anything with it yet. Well, I have an Instagram, but I just don't post on it at the moment because I'm not shooting enough Mauy Thai stuff to kind of put that out. But yeah, you when you watch authentic Mauy Thai shows, like, one crowd reaction that is amazing is just they scream "Uwi" whenever something awesome happens. So like, people will yell, kick and punch and knee and stuff in Thai, but then like when someone lands a really clean kick or a big dump or something, the crowd just goes "Uwi," and it's quite funny when you just have 10,000 people just screaming that, and there's not really. I mean, I don't know why no one has taken that name yet, because there's enough people that do Mauy Thai and no one's been like, I need that. And so I was like, yeah, we'll take it.
You got the handle.
Yeah, so we want to do something with that in the future. If I can spend more of my time making Mauy Thai videos, which, hopefully, I mean, we're seemingly on the way to doing that, then yeah, I think that would be something that I would explore as, like, more of a brand, to be able to connect with more fighters and make more videos and do just dedicated Mauy Thai stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, because the only reason I sort of mentioned the Mauy Thai development is, I think what you do at Good Creative and with the Mauy Thai stuff is you're creating, and what the big production houses that you mentioned that charge heaps for videos, you're kind of creating more a content. And that's your focus of Good Creative. It's more content production that's like not just a marketing campaign. It's like something that people can actually watch. And I think you do a really good job of that. And I wonder if that's sort of a realisation that you came up with through doing the more in-depth doco style stuff.
I mean, the doco type stuff, like, I've tried to fuse like documentary and vlogs together, where like vlogs are a bit too casual, whereas like and documentaries are a bit too rigid. Like, the documentaries are quite old school. You script a lot of things. You're out shot listing. You're doing this. You're doing that. And I kind of wanted to find that hybrid of knowing what I want to get from this, but then also like yeah, just bringing more production value to vlogs essentially is where I'm sitting, right? Because I don't have that much documentary
It's not
experience.
a vlog. It's more as like a series, like it's
Yeah.
an episode, and
Exactly.
It's kind of like
It's like
really cool.
a bit more of a vlog, but not quite a documentary type thing. And so like, I just enjoy making videos like that, really. But from like a video production kind of strategy perspective, a lot of the things that have been working for clients that I work with are like videos that don't feel like ads, because from a consumer perspective, a lot of people, if they feel like they're being sold to, they're not going to want to engage with the content. They're not going to want to buy a product. So if you can make a video for someone, there we go. If you can make a video for someone that doesn't feel like an ad, and if you can do it to a quality and then not actually like don't ask for a sale in the video, and people finish watching the video, they're like, fuck, that was mad. I enjoyed watching that. I learned something. That builds your brand better than any sort of scripted ad or marketing video can make. And
Absolutely.
so, yeah, throwing this in. So this is Barbell Foods, local Canberra legends. They use organic beef and from regenerative farms. So that's also a touch point that's really close to my heart. Working with, people give meat a bad rap for the environment, and that's a whole big bullshit. But that's a different conversation. These are a bunch of guys that make this South African meat snack called biltong. It's better than jerky. Doesn't have preservatives or sugars or anything like that in it. And they're like, yeah, we came up with this idea for this video showing people how they make their product, because they've built their business quite well in the last few years since they used to make it themselves, and they'd cut it up and they'd lay it out on a table, and then they'd like spice it by hand and then hang it up in someone's pantry. This is before they were selling it like commercially. Now they have this big commercial space, and we just made this video. I was like,
yeah, it's a good Canberra success story.
Yeah, they're going crazy, and so it's got like they're running it as a pre-roll ad, but so it has 125,000 views at the moment, but the watch time on this video is like average like 70% or something like that. So like people are watching this video almost all the way through, even when it's an ad, which is crazy. And that's just like that value forward content. Like, hey, this is what we're doing. If you vibe with the video, and making it in like a kind of lighthearted and fun way, if you like what we're doing, like buy our product or check it out or something. But not even if you like what I did. Not even that, because that's asking for the sale. It's just like, hey, this is what we're doing, period. And we did a similar thing at Mauy U. I made a series of vlogs there with Kieran, where we would just sometimes in the lead up to fights with fighters, obviously when we're going overseas and all that type of stuff. But it was just like, hey, this is what we're doing. This is what it's like training at Mauy U. There was no sales focus. There was nothing like that. It was just like, this is what we're doing. And I remember speaking to Max, who now coaches at the gym. He was living in Perth, and Kieran put up an ad in the Mauy Thai community for a new coach. And Max kind of took him up on that offer and moved to Canberra from Perth to coach full-time at Mauy U. And I remember speaking to him about that at the Christmas party after he started at the gym, and he was like, it was the vlog series that kind of convinced me to come to Mauy U, because I just saw what it was like and I wanted to be a part of it. And that's, from a video maker perspective, like they're the emotions that you want people to feel when you watch something. Yeah,
absolutely. Nah, amazing stuff. And I'll let you guys go, and I'll let you, Sean, get back to baby watch.
I think she's having a nap now, so we can keep going if you want. I don't mind.
Sure. Do you have anything else you want to talk about? What's coming up, and what's next? Yeah.
At the moment, since I don't have anything like locked in terms of like fight wise, we've just been doing some like tutorial stuff and how to's. So if you are a beginner, or if you're like in any point of your Muay Thai career and want to see what it's like for me, definitely come check the YouTube out. It's just Gabrielle De Ramos, no spaces, so you'll see me.
How have you gone with that kind of transition into also a content creator, and that sort of on camera side of what you do is really cool too.
It is really cool. I've actually been speaking to Shawnee about it, because I've just recently finished uni, so I've pretty much like gotten rid of all of my uni stress and time that took up, and just like replaced it with influencer content stuff, which is very, very fun. But it's like a whole new like ball game, and like I'm learning a lot of things along the way, and it's really, really fun. But I think as a full-time athlete, as a full-time athlete, it can be really difficult too, because when you're under pressure to to train full time and then work as well. Obviously Muay Thai doesn't pay as much as I would like, but I think that the content creating part of it is like definitely starting to pay off, which is really cool. So yeah, I'm really excited to see where it continues and hopefully get some really cool content in Thailand. Shawnee's thinking about coming to see. Well, we'll just see depending if the baby is.
Might have to have a three ticket trip.
Yeah,
over
I
there.
mean that
Yes.
was kind of the intention.
Yeah.
I think it would be funny to send Ash this clip being like, do you want to come to Thailand in September when Gab goes over? It's all date TBC, but yeah, that would be quite fun. And
I'll take care of the baby, Ash.
we'd already spoken about trying to get back to Thailand before the end of the year.
Yeah.
So that could actually, like, it could work out very well where we just do, like, even if we just spent a week of time,
Yeah.
shot a couple of videos together and then just go somewhere nice
Yeah.
and relax for the rest of it. But yeah, that was always, I think that the Gab finishing uni was also part of what got us talking about like taking content creation more seriously, because you really just organically grew your Instagram following
Yeah.
to some bonkers numbers, and we were like, let's leverage
I literally
this.
didn't try to grow my Instagram at all. It just like
This 160,000.
It just
you fucking
happened.
Rub it
pelican.
in, why don't you?
no, sorry.
I'm joking.
Yeah.
I'm joking.
It just happened.
But yeah, I think we're in this transitional period where like my skills have developed to the point where I'm very happy with the videos that I make quite often. Sometimes I hate them, but you still put them out. But Gab has obviously grown this audience and had been given back a lot of time that uni would have taken up.
Yeah.
And so it was like, let's leverage the growth that you're seeing and the following that you have on Instagram, and then actually, rather than being a full-time worker, full-time athlete, like, let's make you a part-time content creator and a full-time athlete, because then you can actually,
I mean,
like,
that's the dream.
that's essentially what we want to try and get to, right? If we can monetize like, whether it's through sponsorship or through the content, whatever it is, but if we can just make content and you can fight.
Spend some more time training.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, and put more energy into that side of it, because really, like, shooting with me, it doesn't really take that much up. It's like every time that we shot, it was like, oh, like, what are you doing on Tuesday?
Yeah.
Okay, we go for a run and then we hit pads and then we clinch. Cool, I'll film that. And then we just made a video. So it's not like we're doing anything that goes above and beyond. Like, the only thing was trying to organize today when we filmed, the Thai trainers have Sunday off. And so it was like, oh, can we just sweet talk them into like training with us for an hour?
Didn't
and
take
that
much.
was fine, right? Like, it didn't take much. It's not like the content creation side of it is actually that. It's all just things that are happening anyways, right? Like, document,
I mean,
don't
I
create.
train like 6 days a week, so it's like
plenty of opportunities.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah,
Mm.
and I think it's really cool because it's just not seen very much. I think there's this kind of thing where people nowadays don't want to show off what they have in terms of like how they train and stuff. They don't want to show off their secrets or anything like that. But it's, like, I'm not really that afraid of that at all. I'm like very happy to show what I can do and like what training is like. And it's almost like something really cool for me to look back on when I'm old and grey and stuff. So
Love it.
Yeah.
And I think it is very exciting for like the future of the YouTube channel, because I think we started with our best foot forward and ending that like kind of little series thing with like essentially on a loss, but with fight of the night and a couple good cuts. It's like, if anyone watches that, they go, fuck, I want to follow her. Like, I want to see what happens next, because that was so exciting.
Yeah.
And yeah, people are there's a lot of ego attached with winning, as you could assume. And that's not everything, right? Like, I would be, like I went to Perth with David a few years ago, and he lost a fight against the guy who ended up being like multiple-time world champion, George Mann. And that was like filming that fight and seeing like, Davey in tears at the end of the fight. Like, that shit's heartbreaking, but it's like, but it's still the story. And Davey wouldn't be the fighter he is today without having lost that fight. And there's just like so many things. People only want to show the good stuff.
Yeah.
Like, no, like, there's so much more to it. You can't have all the good stuff without having the bad stuff.
Yeah.
And if you want to put yourself out there, do it as authentically as possible. Do it all.
Yes.
Put it all out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's been really cool. We've had a lot of cool feedback. I've had a lot of people like reach out to me that I don't know that you know, like have, you know, found me from YouTube, not even from Instagram. And they're like, you know, telling me that they've just started at this Mauy Thai gym because of
Awesome.
it, which
That's
is really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think Gab is like you're really well placed in this like niche where like there are Mauy Thai fighters, there are Australian Mauy Thai fighters, there are people that put content out, but I think like the way that the combination of your personality, the authenticity of your style, and then like your temperament and the way that we work together when we shoot, like there's not really, I haven't seen anywhere else being able to like put something together like that. Like what we're doing. So it's super exciting.
Yeah, I really love it. I think what we put out online is exactly what we are and who we are like in person. Like there's literally nothing else that we change when you film. Like Shawnee just films and I just pretend that I don't pretend. I'm literally just, I just don't even like I forget he's there sometimes because it's like.
Or it's like we're acting the same. Like either I'm filming or I'm training. Like if I'm at the gym, I'm either filming or training.
Yeah.
And so the way that people act around me when I film at the gym is exactly the same as they would have acted
you're not
if
a
I was
stranger.
filming.
Yeah.
If I was training, except I'm not getting punched in the head, which is really nice. And Gab has punched me multiple times in the solar plexus and you knee me quite a lot and it's quite funny. It's always good.
Yeah, it's cool. I'm really happy with the way the YouTube has turned out, you know. And thanks to Shawnee, every time he sends me a draft, I'm like, I don't know how you do this. It's like insane. So yeah, I'm really excited to keep it going, and I just need to get some fights.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure everyone's keen to check it out and follow what happens next.
Yes.
But let's wrap it up there. Thank you guys so
Beautiful.
much.
Thanks for having us.
For coming into the flats and taking some time in a busy schedule for both of you.
Yeah.
But no, thank you very much, and all the best.
Thanks.
All
for
good.
having
Thank you.
us.
Thanks for having us.
Sick.